Print out the thing from the form that says this part is legal. So unless you can clearly state in the manual that says this is legal, when you get into these gray areas or have an answer on the form, don't use it. Yes, ma'am. Cable ties, absolutely. Where would FIRST be without cable ties?
They'd have to legalize duct tape.
Yeah. Is there what? I have not seen any weight limitations. Okay. Now we're gonna. I'm gonna really tell you. Yes. Okay. Yes. Is what? It should be. Yeah. It should be. I mean, again, if it's not manufactured, it should be legal. Now, I'll tell you one of the ones that I've asked the question about. When you go to McMaster and on the raw materials, they have some very cool aluminum plates that got pre-drilled holes everywhere. That's in the gray area. So again, if you think it's a useful thing to use, ask on the forum. Okay, I am holding in my hand 2 VEX batteries. I'm deliberately picking on VEX just because, you know, some people do have VEX stuff around. This battery here is the standard 7.2 volt power pack that you put on the robot. This one's the 9.6 volt power pack that's used for the remote control. Legal or not legal? Anybody that thinks either of these are legal, raise your hand. You say yes. You're tentative yes. Oh, come on. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Okay, you were saying, okay, not legal, it's a 9.6 volt. This is legal in one circumstance. You're allowed to use a single battery as long as it does not exceed 9 volts to power lights, decorative lights on your robot. Is there anything else?
You're tricking the clock.
Let me be crystal. Okay, everybody, listen up. Let me be crystal clear about this. The only use for a battery, okay, the only use for a battery other than the 12-volt battery on your robot for driving your, is to just power the lights. That is it. You may not use it to power any other circuits, just for powering the lights. That's the limitation. Now there's 2 other places where batteries are legal on the robot. You can use the batteries in the NXT, of course. And then if you have the, is it the servo extension, is the servo multiplexer, not the, yeah, the servo multiplexer has a 9-volt battery and you're allowed to use that one for the servo multiplexer. That is it. Yes, sir?
Aren't Christmas lights manufactured?
Lights, all LEDs. So I've got lots of cool LEDs around here. They are legal for purposes of illumination and decoration of your robot, not for any other purpose. So if you're using it to light the field in order for you to determine distance, it's considered illegal. Decoration, your robot has to be able to behave the same. This is the way you should think about it. With your decoration lights on or off, your robot should behave the same. She was next.
Last year there was mention of purposes.
They have not allowed that in. I have not seen anything in the rules that says you can do that. They've been very clear that the LEDs are for decoration only. That's a good forum question. He was next and then you.
I was about to ask the same thing. Can I use it to say I enter a certain modus in my program?
Oh, I see. Status indicators to you. I know people that use that. That's in the gray area. I would definitely ask on the forum.
Because the question came up, there are 8 12-volt DC motors allowed.
Yes.
12 servos
yes.
in addition, and as many controllers as you can connect to the NXT and handled by the software.
Which is 4.
Which is 4.
You can have 4 motor and servo controllers.
Unless you use a second port.
The software doesn't work very reliably on a second port, I can tell you that. And I'll also tell you this, that because of the way that the Robot C software has been built, if when you put onto that second port, you're probably going to start losing messages on the I2C bus. So it's your opportunity to try it out. But I would, in general, you should count on what is supported configuration is up to any combination of, well, up to 2 servo controllers, and 3 or 4 motor controllers if you want. Because if you look at the limit of 8 motors, that's really 4 motor controllers, each with 2 motors, unless you gang some of the motors together. And then servos, you can have up to 12, which means 2 servo controllers. But I will tell you, when you start having that many on the bus, the amount of messaging starts to exceed the bandwidth of the I2C bus. So just the same way, when you have if you have 8 DC motors on there, trust me, your battery ain't gonna handle it. But you can try. More questions? We're almost done?
So the only gray area would be
I thought we had all 8.
Hold on.
We had 8 on there.
We had 8.
Yes.
power going from that through a custom circuit board gate, which is then wired to your custom circuit board for a status indicator.
That would probably be a gray area, I would ask. But if it's wired, so I'll tell you the area that is almost certainly, if you're powering a circuit whose purpose in life is to drive the LEDs, they're not going to complain about that. But if you're powering some other circuitry that's doing something, then they're going to complain. So I think I hit everything. Pretty much any kind of wire connector you can come up with, legal. I mean, if it's using for connecting wires from one another, so you go to your local auto shop and pick up a bunch of these quick connect connectors, quite legal to do. USB extension cables, legal. In fact, for anybody who went to the Samantha talk, I gave you several different hints, including the panel mount USB connector. Yes, sir?
Okay, if we use our own wires?
Yeah, you can use whatever wires you want. That's considered a raw material, effectively. It's mostly extruded, actually. So let me have that you were touching. This right here. No. Okay, last piece, and then we're going to watch the video. Then I'll answer some more questions. This is a battery tester. How many people, returning teams, have charged their battery, put it on the charger once a month over the entire summer? Tell the truth. I know you guys did. You guys didn't, but we did for you. Okay. I will tell you, the chemistry of that battery, of nickel metal hydride, it does not like to lose its charge. And when it loses its charge, it does not like to get charged again. This is a battery tester. If you brought batteries, you're welcome to try them out here and test them, or if you come by the garage, we'll let you test them. Highly, highly recommend. We actually have one of our batteries we're just getting rid of because it's finally gotten to the point where it's sick enough that it won't hold charge. Power is everything when it comes to a competition. And knowing the chemistry of the battery and how good it's going to hold the charge makes the difference in how well you'll be successful. So if you've been using the same batteries for 3 years, that might be something I would encourage you to consider an investment in another battery. Go and test them to see whether they're good. We do bring these to the competition, so you can test them at the competition. You can decide which of your batteries is the best ones. Okay, 3 more questions. Somebody who hasn't asked a question before goes. Yes, sir.
How much would one of those battery testers cost?
I think this was like $80 for the battery beak. It's a little on the pricey side. Like I say, you're welcome. If you're in the Cary area, you want to come over to our garage and try it out. We're very well opening about that. Okay, 2 more. Anybody else?
One more. What about gears and belts?
Okay, gears and belts. These, Supercell's robots, great example of things that are quite legal. These gears, standard, so the number 25 chain, called out as one of the mechanisms that's legal, including the half lengths. The gears are legal as long as, there are 2 ways to get legal gears. Number 1 is Tetrix, Lego Education, and number 2 is? Yeah, make it yourself. Go ahead and cut it. This piece, which is the treads, legal. You can get that from Lego Education, including these pieces that go in, or you can see the treads are on the wheels there. And if you make them yourself, that would be good too. You get the last question.
In the manual this year, it says we need to make reports.
Yes. Good luck getting them. I can't even get them. In fact, because they're trying to make this Commander module work with it. Okay, so let me answer what Matrix is. So they have been trying, first wants to expand internationally. And what they're finding is the kits that you're getting in the $650 range, that's where they've got it down now. If you're overseas in Singapore and China, $2,000 to buy the kit. Israel, $2,000 to get the kit. It's simply unacceptable. So what they've done is they've come up with an alternate manufacturing. The same folks that make the motor controllers at High Technic have created a new kit called Matrix. It looks much more erector set-like. The corner pieces are rounded edges. They've got a lower end motor controller. The motor itself is much less powerful. I can tell you that if you put a Matrix robot with where it is right now in a pushing match against the Tetrix robot will win every time. So it is a lower cost kit. They're primarily trialing it outside of the United States for teams to experiment with. And so it's really limited availability. You'll see some more next year. But look, you've got a world of materials, and it's actually, in some respects, they've made it a lot cheaper to build a robot. All right?